It is. It's the magic number.
What does it all mean?
Hello and welcome to Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy. That's me, Matthew Syed. We have some, wait for it, meaty topics this week, including intelligence in sport. Rob's got a lot to say about that. Why do England football team underperform? And what rules would you change to make sport more exciting? As always, a big thank you to everyone who's got in touch through the week using the hashtag FredSavSide. First topic. So this is yours, Rob.
Oh, here you go.
What rules? I've got to tell you, I love this topic. What rules would you change
Bit of fun, this.
to make sport better?
So it's a bit of fun, this one as
Unless
well.
you come up with a rule that might get implemented.
Right. This might sound a bit strange, but I've got... the F1 to start with.
Yeah.
I watched the F1 yesterday with my wife on the sofa with the French Bulldogs and a glass of red wine in between the French tennis and the Wales. Right? As soon as Hamilton sets off, he's won. Mm-hmm. He's won. He's got the best car. He's a good driver. He's won it. So F1, I do enjoy it. I do like it. Every car should be the same.
Oh, I like it.
Every car should be the same.
Test of the drivers.
Test of the driver. And for as long as it's safe, I'd have a part of the track wet. I'd have sprinklers on the track. Yeah, test of if it's safe and right, whether they've got slicks or whatever grade of tyre, a couple of tyre stops. But that would make it the best driver, part of the track being wet. It would be entertaining.
Yeah.
It would be a great spectacle. Instead, I'm watching it yesterday, and I do love it. Hamilton goes off into the distance, game over, turn over, off you go.
I like it. I mean, the only thing that I think Anorax from Formula One would say is it's not just a test of drivers. They love the battle between the engineers. All of the data crunching and the changing of the aerodynamics and the engine and the test cells. They love all of that. I mean, for me, I'm with you, Robbie. The spectacle is worse when there is a dominant car, somebody gets it. It's processional. It's boring.
Well, so far, you said nothing to suggest that this should be a sport. You're telling me you've got to change. Right, essentially, it's a sport about cars and manufacturers, but that doesn't work, so let's have all the same car. And this is how bad Formula One is. This is the best you can do. Let's sprinkle a little bit of water on the track. Really? Why don't we just get rid of it? I've said it before, just say we've got it wrong. It's no good.
Go to the bridge at Kiel.
There's some on telly now. There's people driving round in a track.
What about this one?
In the name of entertainment.
What about in football? Because I think we've got...
So can we say Formula One can't be improved?
I think it can
it's
be.
It's dead in the water.
It's
gone. It's rubbish.
But you look at the MotoGP, the motorbikes. How entertaining is that?
Yeah.
It's brilliant, Fred. You might say they haven't got the same bike.
When was the last time you went?
To MotoGP, I went to...
Have you been?
No, I've not been, but I do watch
Have you ever seen it?
Is it better? I don't know. Is it better live?
I used to go to British Superbikes a lot.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. My mate used to have a team in the British Superbikes.
Much more overtaking.
It's brilliant, Fred. It's much more exciting MotoGP. Football.
Yep.
You can knock me down this one. The boss already has. So, 0-0 draws in the Premier League or in football in general, no points.
Instead of getting 1 point as
Instead
they
of
did
getting
today.
1 point. Score,
Ooh.
draw, get a point.
So to put the emphasis on scoring, trying
Just
to
more
encourage
entertainment.
Tell you what, think about how football improved when for a win it went from 2 points to 3 points. Massive change, improved the dynamic of the Premier League. What would be the unintended consequences?
What would be the unintended consequence was if you're mid-table, end of the season, right? You're mid-table, you got nothing to play for, and you're playing against a side who are desperately trying to stay up.
That's a fair point.
And then there might be a local rival. You just put 11 men behind, you just ruin the game. We don't need points.
Hey,
they
true.
need them. Off you
That's
go,
true.
lads.
That's brilliant.
I heard that before in the office somewhere.
That is spot on,
That's
Freddie.
why I'm here.
I'm just throwing it out there, Matthew, for a bit more excitement, a bit more entertainment, because all we hear in recent years, park the bus.
Yep.
And that's what I'm hearing. So that was just maybe a change. People might hate it. People might think good idea, Sav, for the first time ever on this podcast.
I think Freddie's just absolutely not
Nailed it.
I don't think I have. I think I've come up with a flaw for it.
But do you think?
Well, I reckon it'd make it better.
What about golf? why do they not enforce the time rule on golf?
Yeah.
They wiggle, they waggle. When it's a putt, they check the line, they check the length, they check the sun, they check the atmospheric pressure, they check the wind, they walk back and forward. You stood there watching on TV thinking, when are they going to hit the ball? It's a joke.
Why are you getting aggressive?
No, carry on, Matthew.
Jim Furyk, Bernard Langer, Keegan Bradley, they take so long. By the way, on time wasting, I love Novak Djokovic, really admire him. He bounces the ball 20 times before he serves. So the TV directors now, they do a shot of the crowd, they do a shot of his wife, they do a shot of his coach, they do a shot of his opponent. He's still bouncing the ball. Then they go over to it. People forget how many times he bounces the ball because the TV directors cut it out of the edit now.
That's how good tennis is. That is how good it is. You sat watching it all day, you're watching a man bounce a ball. And that's probably the best bit of it. One of the things I get rid of tennis is them people who are like looking like they're on the toilet. You know, they're crouching and they're looking at the lines.
The judges.
The line judges.
They look like retired people.
Most of them are.
Exactly, but surely this is being filmed.
What about the umpire?
Why don't you just...
What about the umpires in cricket? The square leg umpire. We went into this last week with the jersey.
I go for cricket.
You can't improve. You can't improve on perfection.
The county championship.
Yep.
The county championship, right? Seriously, you could go to a county championship game now,
watching.
and there's a dozen people watching. 6 will be asleep, right? Why not change the rules of county championship? Tip and run. Hit the ball, you've got to run.
What, hit and run?
Hit and run.
Oh, we used to do that, yeah.
There you go. Why not? Hit and run.
But you're saying it's got a problem to play tip and... What do you mean play tip and run?
Hit and run.
This is coming from a man who showed his missus a good time yesterday by watching the Grand Prix tennis, followed by... What was it? Wales.
But
and you're having a go at somebody's sport. You're having a go at the...
But Freddie, county cricket is not getting the numbers.
That's what I'm saying, Matthew.
That it used to.
How can you... Hit and run would be great. You'd have shorter games. You'd have bigger crowds. Hit the ball, you've got to run. People try and hit more 4s, hit more 6s, the games would be quicker. Listen, it might be an absolutely nonsensical idea.
It is.
They might start leaving the ball, padding it, all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, but you can still...
It's an interesting one.
Is it?
Yeah, I quite like it. Quite like it.
Oh, wow. Do you really?
Freddie.
Really, Matthew?
Well,
Do you like that?
Yeah, I do.
I can't believe this is coming out of your mouth.
Matthew, the Times journalist who's wrote Bounce and Black Box Thinking likes that, Andrew.
Yeah.
I worry about the county.
That's why he's working with us. Resurrecting his career after them shocking books. Hey, he wasn't getting booked for speaking engagements before this podcast started. All of a sudden, he's tweeting pictures with Richard Branson. Hey, he's at it all the time.
What would you change, Fred? You must have some good ones.
What, in cricket?
No, in any sport. Any rule changes.
In any sport? Well, with the risk of going into the next subject, I'd educate footballers. I think that's a must. I think to play, you've got to have at least one GCSE. It's like, and it can't be in drama or needlework. You need one of the big ones, maths or English or something. You know, we're talking about people who now can't stand where they're told. They have to spray a line on the floor. I'm sorry, but let's have a grip. So that's football covered. Any other sports?
What about... I'll tell you one thing, a serious one in football. If a player has a pop at the referee, give them a red card.
It's supposed to happen, isn't it?
Hey, by the way, when the managers have a go at the fourth official, constantly berating every single decision, they go with the fourth referee. It doesn't make any difference, but they will have a go. Send them to the stands. It's about time, right? Yeah. And what about all this grappling in the box? They said they were going to crack down on.
They're supposed to have cracked down on it. What other sports? What other sports we got?
Huh?
Think of a sport. What other sports we got?
What, darts? You can't improve on darts.
No, you can't improve on it. You can't improve in darts.
Only way you'll improve on darts is cloning Phil Taylor.
You can't improve in darts.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
Boxing. I'd stop all that chat beforehand. It's embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself, lads.
The trash talk.
Do you know, just a serious one on boxing. Right, and I've been thinking about this, and this is serious. Is boxing not like 200-300 years ago?
What?
Is it not? We see a lot of things that
like
are happening.
Primitive.
Yeah, we watch things that happen in the world now, and everyone's on the PC brigade and all that. This is a sport. Think about it, where two men or women now are in the ring punching each other in the head.
Yeah.
till they fall over.
With the objective to make the other person unconscious.
Unconscious, and they'll quite brazenly say it before the fight. I'm going to knock his lights out. Is that right? I've done it, but is it right?
Well, I have to say I struggle with it ethically. I mean, I
enjoy it.
I mean, I've loved boxing all my life, but I have to say I watch it now. The first time it really hit me, Fred, was I went to Bethnal Green, watched the bout. And when you're up close by the ropes and you can see the blood and you can hear the sound of a gloved fist hitting a human jaw, you suddenly think, my goodness. And then this guy got stretchered out and within seconds people were cheering the next people coming in. Look, I know a lot of people love boxing and you'll get, it's easy to get criticised by saying you have a bit of a moral concern. I feel deeply ambivalent about it for sure.
But when you've got someone on the mat at the end of a fight, completely out cold, and they're trying to bring him back, and I'm
yes, it's definitely questionable. Here's a serious one: tennis. Why do people get 2 serves?
I was going to say that.
Can
One
you imagine
serve.
bowling, getting out and saying, "Oh, let me have another go."
One serve. I was going to say that was my next one. Tennis, 1 serve.
Who come up with points? Why did you get 15? Why get 15, 30, and then they say love? What's that about?
But in the tie-break, it's 1st to 7.
Yeah, bizarre. Hey, by the way, the only downside of having 1 serve in tennis is you would lose serve and volley. People like to do an aggressive, risky first serve and then come to the net.
You don't see much serve and volley now, Matthew.
Exactly, and I think you'd lose it altogether if you only had one serve.
I've just made a good point there, and you've just...
No, I agree with you, but you need to have...
But there's not much serve and volley now, anyway. We gone are the days of Boris Becker smashing one down, diving at the net. Remember who else was there who serve and volley? Edberg.
Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant serve and volley.
Henman.
Yeah, but gone are the days.
What about... Go on.
I think tennis, 1 serve, because that would stop the ball bouncing as well a little bit, would it?
Well, probably not.
You wouldn't bounce the balls.
I also think that with the 2 serves, you get that beautiful aesthetic of the ace. With only the second serve, you're unlikely to get any
when you go
aces.
to Wimbledon, the fast grass court, you see the big servers, Goran Ivanisevic. You've seen... Who's that big American, John Osner? What's his name? Isner. John Isner. Fred, at Wimbledon, throw the ball up, smashes it, ace.
Yeah,
and some, they'll have 30 or 40 aces. Boring.
Well, that was...
Serves you right for going.
But it was at its worst when Sampras played Ivanisevic in the Wimbledon final.
Ace.
It was absolutely the dullest game I've ever seen. But now they've slowed the ball down. The grass is slightly slower. You do get decent rallies at Wimbledon now. By the way,
do you
know why they brought in the 2 serves in tennis?
No.
Because when tennis was started as a game all those years ago, the
Real
balls,
tennis?
I'm not sure if it's real tennis or lawn tennis, but the balls were so bad that they would say, look, if you've got a terrible ball, you better have a second chance to serve it in, otherwise we're not going to get any rallies.
That's true?
Well, that's what the producer just said. He's nodding his head vigorously.
But there's other sports which need livening up a bit, isn't there? Like the marathon.
Oh.
The marathon. How boring is that? Just watching people run.
How can you liven the marathon? How can you liven the marathon?
I reckon, set them off, right?
Can't wait for this.
Set them off, and then half an hour in, let some dogs go.
To hear more on what rules we've changed to make sport better, please download the podcast. But next, we moved on to this.
Next topic. Do you have to be intelligent
What are you laughing for?
to excel in sport? Now,
Come on, Matthew. Are we really doing this? Have you not been listening to him for the past hour? We're doing this.
Past 18 shows.
I've got to tell you, I've got a strong opinion on this, and I suspect I'm going to disagree wildly with Fred. Fred, I take it you think that you don't have to be intelligent to excel in, for example, football, because very few
I'll be honest with
footballers
you,
have
I may
GCSE.
not be able to explain the Duckworth-Lewis method, but I know thick people when I see them on telly. And usually they're kicking a ball. Let's be honest, I've seen it. I'll be honest with you, I don't think you do need brains. I think my intellect got in the way of my sporting career.
Interesting.
If I wasn't this clever, I'd have been a great.
I think you need brains. I think you do.
To do what?
To play sport.
I really think...
Did you get through the net? I don't understand it.
Okay, let me throw this your way. Let's take Wayne Rooney as an example. People say he's really... Frankie Boyle, one of his stand-up, he said, Wayne Rooney gets paid a lot of money, but he'd be happier with a tyre and rope. So he's comparing him to a monkey. How did he get
more
married?
orangutan.
How did he get married? Probably because I do sounds quite a lot like ooh, ooh. So this is a common refrain.
That's not some of Frankie's best material.
No, it wasn't a classic. But I've looked back at Wayne Rooney's school reports. In his first maths report at primary school, it says, quick to grasp new facts, fantastic mental skills. By the time he got to
his first thing at primary school, he's quick to grasp what?
New facts.
New facts. Right, milk comes from a cow. I think he was good with that one. There we go, Wayne, get your milk. Like, here, miss, where's he from? Where's he from, the milk? It's from a cow, Wayne. Oh, miss got it. Right, next.
Hang on. By the time he got to the age of 10...
Oh, he could spell his name.
No.
W-A, what's the next one, miss?
Matthew's coming for you. He's got a fair point here.
No, hang on. It said quick and confident and grasp new concepts quickly. Religious education, contributions show him to be a caring child, responds to the need of others. And my take on this is that Rooney, when he was a young kid, he only attended school for 186 days out of 320. Why? Because he was training for football. He played 3 nights a week, weekend matches. He was on the street. He was putting his life and soul into football. If he had focused on his education,
what would you be doing? He'd been in the country. He'd have been in number 10. Well, he might have been at the minute.
I think it's a massive category error to say because a footballer, Wayne Rooney or Robbie Savage, hasn't got a university degree and can't solve simultaneous equations, it means they're not intelligent. What that is telling me is they neglected their education to focus on an incredible work ethic in football and to reach the top of a ferociously competitive global sport.
I think you have to be intelligent to play sport, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. The intelligence to grasp things, to pick things up. For, as a youngster, a coach will tell you X, Y, and Z. You can pick it up quicker than people.
Yep.
I've played sport with Freddie. I've
what
played.
What did you pick up?
Well, so for instance, if you can, I see it in kids now, Freddie, and you've run under 13s cricket team, and a very good cricket team, and you can see it. You can see it that some of the kids will grasp things quicker than others, and those ones will be more likely to be successful in their sport.
And by the way, I think there's a number of different types of intelligence. There's
I agree
theoretical intelligence. Are you able to solve differential equations? Can you quote Einstein's theory of relativity? But there's practical intelligence. James Dyson, great inventor.
Hoovers.
Dual cyclone.
See, he's not fires on Robbie.
There's
no fires on Robbie.
But he wasn't,
Hoover.
I just got one, I was happy.
but he wasn't like a
Hey,
theoretician.
you've got the new hairdryer as well, haven't you? Hey?
I tell you, that was an amazing
Wayne
invention.
Rooney's got nothing on you.
But, Matthew...
But let me just finish that off. The practical intelligence. He wasn't able to solve the equations to separate dust from air, which is what the dual cyclone vacuum cleaner does. But he got a prototype, he tested it, it didn't work, so he adapted it, and through practical trial and error learning, he created an incredible machine. That's how the Industrial Revolution happened. What you're doing when you kick a football, curling it into the top corner from 30 yards...
Hang on a minute. Don't compare Robbie Savage kicking a football to a man who started the Industrial Revolution with an Hoover.
Right,
Because he could separate dust and... What was he doing? And Robbie can kick a ball?
Freddie, you're going to be amazed at this.
I am going to be amazed.
The guy who inspired the Industrial Revolution, the steam engine, Thomas Newcomen, was a barely literate lay preacher. He wasn't able to do the mathematical equations, but he was brilliant at trying things, learning by doing. That's what you mean by kids who are able to pick up how to connect with the ball, to get the curve, to be in the right position. These are... Football is a game of the brain.
I think solving problems on the pitch as well is an intelligence.
Solving problems.
It's solving problems. It's an intelligence.
Solving problems.
So, for instance, you can be playing...
What, you run around with sums in your pockets?
Yeah, no, but you can be playing...
Well, just out of interest, what you got? What did you do educationally? You sort of pulled out early,
I got
didn't you?
7 GCSEs.
Mm-hmm.
So I got... I had art... PE, technical.
You did home economics, didn't you?
Technical drawing.
Yeah.
Home economics.
English language. English literature.
Oh my word!
English literature.
We might have to have a steward's inquiry on this. There's no chance.
I'll bring
You
the
can't even
report in.
say it. You can barely spell GCSE.
I got. Let me start again. PE, technical drawing. Art, English literature, English language, maths, and biology.
Not the exams you took, what you passed.
I got
ones you turned up
4
for.
A's and 3 B's.
Wow.
4 A's and 3 B's.
That's pretty. And how much football were you playing every
all the
week?
time, all the time. And then I went to uni. I went to Accrington College and got a BTEC in business studies while playing football. Wow. So I got that as well.
See, this doesn't surprise me. I think you are. I mean, Freddie's going to hammer me for this. I think you're very bright.
So I'm clever as well because.
Did you just say did you just say?
I did, yeah.
These are the people tell you, Rob.
But I
You know why I'm clever?
I think I'm quite intelligent and quite clever because there's people out there who are far more intelligent, who are far more organised, who are far more
well educated.
Yep. But I'm here doing this because I've used my intelligence and my, cleverness to form a career when I might.
It's not even a
You're
sentence.
not using this
It's
podcast.
not even a sentence.
People think I'm kidding them, but I must have an intelligence and a sharpness
No, you've
about
just
me
been
to
found
be here.
out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The pretense is over, Rob. You've just outed yourself.
Freddie, so what
Is that
did
not
you...
a fair point?
I totally agree with you. I think that you've navigated your way
Correct,
through your post-football
intelligent.
career brilliantly. And not
Intelligent.
just... OK, I'm going to throw this in. Freddie's going to hammer you, but I'll throw this in.
Yeah.
This podcast... Who is the person who's come up with many of the best topics that we've discussed?
No.
Who goes and checks the Twitter feed? Who's on the phone to me and Fred and the producer? I mean, Freddie calls you the executive producer.
That's a fair point,
So
fair
you are
point.
all over it. And I think that, by the way, is initiative. It's being proactive. That's the kind of intelligence of the James Dyson, the Industrial Revolution.
Me and James Dyson.
Becky,
You're Stephen Hawkins. You're
Freddie,
Steve.
what about education? I know.
Robbie
Look, you're
Savage is my hero.
Come
I
on,
wish
Fred.
I was as clever as Robbie Savage.
Come on.
His punditry is from a different universe.
Ask him now.
But what did you do at school? Did you sort of
Seriously.
drop out completely, or did you stick at it?
I was. I don't like to bang on about it. I was a straight A student
Were you?
up until being 15 when I started getting paid to play cricket.
Really? Honestly.
So you were nailing
Science.
it. What, maths, English,
Everything.
science, the works.
Yeah.
I'm not at all surprised by that.
Yeah. What?
Well, there
I
you
struggled
go.
a bit with needlework, but who doesn't?
But why
there
do you
you
say
go.
why do you say your intellect? This was really interesting. You said that your intellect got in the way of you being an even more successful cricketer. What do you mean by
I
that?
thought about it a bit too much.
Uh-huh.
I'd sooner be a simpleton like Rob. Just get on with it.
You
No,
overcomplicated
because I was when and then I was about 15, I started getting paid to play cricket. Didn't really go to school, didn't bother, and then coasted through. Ended up with 9 GCSEs, Bs and Cs. I think the intellect thing was you do overthink it.
Yeah.
At times. I play with people, and I'm not saying I'm a massive intellect, but I did think about things. And when I didn't think, I was a better player than when I tried to dissect things and go through.
See, people talk about David Beckham. When you hear the comedians take the mick out of the way he speaks and coming across as quite thick. He's one of the most intelligent men out there, I think.
I agree.
For him to achieve what he's
Shall I tell you what I
achieved.
think it is?
No.
It's class prejudice. Because you have a rower who goes on TV, and because they've been to a private school and they have a different accent, people say, oh, how wonderful they are. Aren't they such great ambassadors for our nation? Then you have Wayne Rooney or David Beckham who speak with different accents because they're from a working class background. People associate that with being thick when they're
I
deeply
agree.
intelligent. And moreover, they've come through hardship and
I'm with
poverty
you.
up against so many other people. They've shown initiative and resilience. And I think there is a real problem. I think we see it in, footballers are overpaid. We don't say that about Hollywood actors who have been to Eton because we think that they speak with the right accent. I think that a lot of the prejudice against the intellectual ability of footballers is basic class warfare.
I don't think intellect is a big thing for a sportsman. One thing which I think is more important, and I'm not quite sure how to describe it, is being streetwise.
Yeah.
Streetwise. Where you look at someone like Steve Armisen, right? And I don't know if you ever went to school with him. However, he's so streetwise. He is so on it. And he thinks differently. And I mean, we used to get these lads who've been to Cambridge and they've been to posh school and that. And they didn't get it. They didn't get it. They would analyse everything within an inch of its life. And you talk about knowing what to do on a field. There's a cricket. You need a cricket brain. You need to read a game.
Cricket brain. A football brain.
Thank you for listening.